Now, a two-day training session has been organized by the BJP for its first-time MPs starting today. The orientation program is meant to impart training to the 166 newly elected BJP MPs on enhancing their parliamentary and public conduct. They will be coached on how to conduct themselves in parliament, in their constituencies and in their interactions with mainstream and social media. The session, taking place at Surajkund in Faridabad on the outskirts of Delhi, kicked off a short while ago. And Prime Minister Modi, who you can see in those pictures, is going to inaugurate it. Top BJP leaders, including Arun Jaitley, Sushma Swaraj and Venkaiah Naidu, will address the MPs over the next 2 days.
अलग अलग सत्र को अलग अलग हमारे वरिष्ठ नेता संबोधित करेंगे, अलग अलग विषयों पर उनको जानकारी देंगे, बताएंगे। उसमें अपनी कॉन्स्टिट्यूंसी को नर्सिंग करना, वहां की प्रॉब्लम को डील करना, पब्लिक से डील करना।
मैं तो समझता हूं कि ये बहुत आवश्यक था। इसे हम लोगों के पार्टी का क्या अप्रोच रहेगा डिफरेंट इश्यूज पर, इसके बारे में डिस्कशन होगा। किस तरह से हम लोग इस सेशन को अप्रोच करेंगे, इसके बारे में डिस्कशन होगा। ये बहुत यूजफुल है और ऐसा तो मैं समझता हूं कि हर बार होना चाहिए।
And tracking that training session of the first-time BJP MPs is my colleague Sandeep Hukun, who now joins us from the venue of that training session. Sandeep, yet another novel exercise being undertaken by the BJP with Prime Minister Modi himself in attendance there. And we heard one of those first-time MPs, R.K. Singh, sounding rather excited, saying this is something that is likely to help them in the long run.
That's right, Neha. As we speak, Prime Minister Modi arrived. He in fact took off from the Safdarjung airport, from the Safdarjung airfield on an Indian Air Force helicopter. It was about 20 minutes back he arrived here. He's interacting with, as you said, first-time MPs, about 160 odd first-time MPs will be in attendance. But they would be coached by several senior leaders, and different sessions have been kept from, use of social media. A session will be addressed by Piyush Goyal. Finance Minister Arun Jaitley will be addressing these MPs. Sushma Swaraj will be addressing these MPs. I mean, they are, of course, all veteran parliamentarians. They know, the do's and don'ts. But it won't be restricted, Neha, only to, how they should behave in Parliament or their do's and don'ts in Parliament, but also how they should conduct themselves as representatives of Bharatiya Janata Party. How should they behave in their constituencies? Basically a code of conduct sort of thing. Of course, the BJP says it's an orientation program for their first-time MPs. But Neha, I must also point out that Prime Minister Modi himself is a first-time MP. Of course, he's a four-term Chief Minister, right? He's very, very experienced in terms of governance. But in terms of being a member of Parliament, this is his first term as well.
It's very interesting you mentioned that, Sandeep, that the Prime Minister himself is a first-time member of Parliament. In fact, we remember how emotional he got when he entered Parliament for the first time as a Prime Minister designate. And also, it's not surprising, Sandeep, that the BJP is holding such an exercise, given that within just a few days of taking over as Prime Minister, we had Narendra Modi addressing his MPs and issuing several commandments to them, giving them a list of do's and don'ts. So this is in many ways in keeping with that novel style of functioning.
That's right. As I said, this is in continuation of, you're absolutely right, those do's and don'ts that were issued to MPs, that, they should concentrate, in getting jobs done. They should concentrate in their constituencies. People who have voted for them, they should spend less time in, and they should use of social media as a tool to communicate with people, not necessarily, spending time only with mainstream media. So all of that, and not to speak out of turn. So all of, not to touch feet at public events. That's something that we often see Indian politicians do, especially the younger lot of politicians touching the feet of senior people or people in power. These are some things that Prime Minister Modi had outlined not to do. So it is, you're absolutely right. It is in continuation, it is in continuation today's meeting. In fact, it's a 2-day session. Prime Minister Modi is going to inaugurate, and L.K. Advani, the patriarch of the BJP, he's going to have a session. The concluding session will be addressed by Mr. L.K. Advani. And through these, over these next 2 days, several of senior BJP leaders, as I said, people who are absolutely masters, parliamentarians, people like Arun Jaitley, Sushma Swaraj, they will also be going through the first-time MPs on how to deal with issues, how should they address public issues, how should they handle these issues, and how should they communicate to the public at large. Also media interaction, as I said, use of social media as a tool to communicate directly to people. So these are issues that they have devised. Of course, they will speak on the economy, they will speak on policy as well. So different sessions have been earmarked over the next 2 days. And you're right, it is in continuation of the first set of commandments, as it were, that were given to the BJP MPs. So it is in continuation of those commandments that today's the orientation program is being held at Surajkund.
Right. Sandeep, thanks so much for bringing us those details. We will, of course, continue to track that orientation and training camp and all the developments there with you over the next 2 days.